All right, our next guest is a great reporter and an even better dude. He's an accomplished author as well with his latest book, The Sideline CEO. Here's ESPN's Marty Smith. What's up, man?
I can hear the applause. It is raucous, David. How you doing, dude?
Good, man. I always love talking to you. I think I want to start. I want to get to your book, but I want to start things off with life in the SEC right now. And why do you think there's been such a dip to the beginning of the season for SEC teams?
I just don't know, but it is odd. The statistics are telling that it's been a long time since we've had so few 3-0 teams after 3 weekends. But when you look at Alabama being down and trying to figure out what they are offensively, that's certainly one of the biggest stories in the conference. Tennessee still trying to figure it out a bit offensively. They got exposed some at the Swamp last weekend. Your guy, Connor Wegman, looks very, very good. I mean, he's got a 92.8 QBR, which is the best in the conference. So it would appear on paper that the Jimbo Fisher, Bobby Petrino marriage is unfolding well. Hugh Freeze is undefeated. I mean, the guy wins. It's what he does. But it's just been a very odd start to this SEC slate. Georgia, of course, is still number one in the country, deservedly so. They're still sort of working it out with Carson Beck at quarterback. But I'm just sort of interested with the SEC's positioning in the broader scope of the sport right now as opposed to normal. And that's one thing we're going to break down in a big way on Saturday on SEC Nation down there in College Station.
Marty, let's kind of go back to A&M for a moment. They failed their test against Miami, at least defensively. How do you caddy this team considering some of the issues defensively, but the offense is working? And as you mentioned, Connor, if you got a good quarterback, you can win a lot of games.
Score the football. They do have a ton of weapons offensively. I mean, you watch them on tape, it's like they got dudes. And he has been so efficient and just really making good decisions. And if, again, we've said it from the jump, if Jimbo continues to kind of let Petrino run this thing the way that he sees fit, I think they have a great opportunity because Jimbo does need to be a CEO. I mean, there's so much to manage when you're the head coach that getting in the day-to-day nuance of game planning can be a distraction from all those macro things you have to think about. And so hopefully for the Aggies that continues. But yeah, man, I felt like that was a really impressive performance by Miami, though, too. Just for the record, they played very well. Mario has done a great job down there. People are lauding him in every single facet of that job. And so A&M has a great opportunity, David. Obviously, y'all have the talent, and I think Jimbo's a great coach. I think that obviously the resources are there, and who knows what it's going to end up being when we get to December in the SEC West. I think LSU's really good, super good. So A&M has a shot.
Marty, my thing is with Bama, I keep expecting for Nick to figure this out. And look, they only got one loss. They didn't look good against South Florida. I think they're going to figure it out, but is it going to be too little, too late potentially?
Not yet. They haven't played an SEC West game yet. So they'll have one this weekend against Ole Miss, and Lane's licking his chops at the opportunity to join that list of former assistants that beats the GOAT. I do believe that Jalen Milroe gives them the best opportunity to win behind center. Where they have not done a great job is running an offensive scheme and philosophy that is best befitting his skill set. They got to run the football, man, and they got to do it well, and then take some shots off that with play action. Thing is, the offensive line's not great right now either. And so it's a series of issues. It's not just quarterback. People want to point to quarterback, but offensive line play has not been spectacular either. And Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, look, it's hard to come into a Nick Saban regime and just stake your claim. Just stake it. Now, Lane did it. Sark already had a bit of a pedigree coming in, and, Tommy did a good job at Notre Dame, but he's still sort of trying to find his way, I think. And that can't be easy. So I think it is a work in progress. But I mean, look, I think Jalen Milroe is going to be the best athlete on every single field he steps on. And so use it.
Marty, I want to ask you about one other SEC team. Look, this is just life in the SEC. We know that. But Arkansas loses to BYU. They've got LSU coming up. They got A&M after that. This is a huge stretch for them.
Oh, it is. No question. You know, I like the guys they have, and I love Coach Pittman. But it's going to be very difficult. LSU, again, I couldn't have been more impressed. I was in Starkville last weekend. Those fans were lathered up. I had talked to Will Rogers, the quarterback, and he said to me, look, we're never going to be one of those teams that shows up unprepared. We want everybody to know that we're in a fist fight every single time. And then LSU comes in and really imposed its will. Jaden Daniels had one of the best games in the history of the conference. I mean, at the quarterback position, he was just awesome. And so I really like LSU. They got beat for one quarter against Florida State. Otherwise, they've been pretty good, and I expect that to continue this weekend as they continue to build self-confidence. I like KJ Jefferson. I think that they have a lot of talent in certain places, but that league is merciless, David. The SEC West is merciless. So, yeah, it ain't going to get any easier for Arkansas.
Marty, let's talk a little bit about your book, Sideline CEO, and just how it all came together and some of the you took the best minds in sports, not just college football, the best minds in sports and how they put their teams together. Take me a little bit through that.
Well, thank you for giving me the platform to discuss it, first of all. But, yeah, I interviewed Coach Saban, Dabo Swinney, Jimbo, Mac Brown, Roy Williams, John Calipari, Tom Izzo, Doc Rivers, Patty Gasso, Kim Mulkey, on and on. It really is kind of a who's who of great champion leaders. And I broke the book into 8 pillars. What exactly is leadership? Trust, communication and listening, delegation, culture, crisis management, self-evaluation, evolution. All of those are vital to great leadership. And then I dove into all of those different principles and some other things with each of these individuals that are in the book. And I think ultimately what came out of it was a very digestible way to inject these principles into your daily walk. Now, I know this, coaches, especially at the, youth, high school, smaller college levels, are going to love this. And business leaders who are trying to develop a culture are going to love this. There's so much that you can use from these great leadership minds. And so I would love if y'all checked it out. I expect it to impact your lives if you do. And again, I made it super digestible by writing it in an oral history type of format where you can put it down and pick it right back up and not have to go back and find out where you just were. It's really easily digestible.
Marty, one of the quotes that struck me from the book, and I think is very apparent here at Texas A&M, was from Coach Cal on creating a winning culture. The whole idea in our program is culture is about achievement. The culture here is about being competitive. The culture here is about learning the battle and fight like hell for your opportunity. There were some culture issues here for several reasons at A&M. They think they've cleaned it up, but any successful organization has to have that kind of mindset.
And everybody eats. That was the part of that amazing John Calipari quote. To me, everybody eats. And the reason that's important today in collegiate athletics is, especially at a place like Texas A&M on the football side, and certainly Kentucky on the basketball side, creme de la creme. You have an opportunity to get the best players in the country every single year. So what does that mean? That means the young people coming in there have been told since they were young teenagers, you're the greatest player that's ever come out of this place. You're the greatest thing since peanut butter. You're God's gift to football or basketball. And so they get there, and then all of a sudden they look around and go, oh, hell, these guys are just as good as I am or better. So what's that mean? That means that you have to have the self-awareness as an individual to demand of self to find best self and not sulk, so that you inject and integrate yourself into that culture. And these guys have to do it in such a high pressure winner, get out of here culture, like expectation level. And so it's just, it really is very interesting from that perspective.
Marty, great stuff, man. I really appreciate your time. You know how much I enjoy talking to you, and I'll see you in College Station soon.
I look forward to it, brother. We'll see y'all down there this weekend. Have a good one.